Hey everyone, Mr. Regan here, and today we're going to be looking at our key concept diagram and looking at how to use it in the next set of tasks where you have to use it to explain how concepts work. So when you get into the next set of tasks, you're going to have our tennis diagram and our key concepts with our key vocab words here. And when you click on the tennis diagram, your goal is to use that key concept to explain what's going on in the tennis diagram here for each of our blue questions. So if we're looking at our diagram here, we have a set of players here. Tennis player 1 is on the bottom, 2 is on the top. Tennis player 1 is serving to 2, and they hit the ball in different ways at one another as they play the game of tennis over the net. Now, when we're looking at our key concepts, you'll start by dragging and dropping our vocab words to complete them. So we know that force is required to change the velocity of an object. From here, I would be looking at my diagram to find an example of where a force is required to change the velocity of the object. So, looking at this, we know the players are hitting the ball to one another. We know that they're applying a force with their racket. We know the ball's velocity is changing. So, I would come back in here and answer the question using the words and terminology from my key concept, using this idea to find an example of it in the diagram. So, looking at the diagram, you'll see player 1 hits the ball to player 2. Player 2 applied a force, so we're applying that force with his racket to change the ball's velocity back at player 1. So notice a few things. I'm talking about the force that's required. I'm talking about how the velocity changed. He's hitting it back at player 1. And I'm talking about the object that's velocity is being changed, and that's the ball. So notice my example of key concept 1 is talking about how the players are hitting the ball back and forth between each other using those keywords and phrases. So your job will be to continue to drag and drop our keywords and look for examples of the key concept in our diagram. If you have questions, reach out.